Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. I'm Shu Wen Liao, the Secretary General of Taiwan Coalition Against Violence. Today, I would like to show you how we have extended our concern from violence against women and children to violence against the earth, highlighting the urgent intersectionality between the two issues and how we start grassroots feminist movement responding to climate justice. In the short 25-minute speech, I can only give you a glimpse of how our work in Taiwan has shifted from past trend to future stress, connect the dots in our holistic efforts, from system-based advocacy to community-based advocacy, and how we connect with SDGs, CDOC, and the Generation Equality Forum to turn global visions into local action. Most importantly, what I want to show you is our strategies, our goal to turn advocacy into a lifestyle. That's the way we can expanding our influence from the professional fields to approachable public efforts. The video may more clearly to give you the whole idea that Taiwan Coalition Against Violence, who we are, and how we work.
We hope everyone can live safely on Earth and be free from all the violence, stigmas, and stereotypes. In Taiwan, 1 in 4 women has been threatened by gender-based violence, GBV, in their lifetime. The reported domestic violence cases is as high as over 130,000 cases in a year. Over 10,000 sexual assaults are reported each year, in addition to about 1,000 sexual harassment complaints per year. Initiatives for combating gender-based violence in Taiwan had already started in 1988. Many women's groups launched victims' protection projects at that time, and some legislation concerning gender-based violence was established within a decade. The Taiwan Coalition Against Violence, TCAV, was founded in 2004 and is the first coalition in Taiwan. Our goal is to prevent and eradicate GBV through many initiatives, including the Owlish Special Hotline, judicial advocacy, media communications, community prevention, and an elderly care system. We try to eliminate any harms and discrimination that is caused by gender inequality. TCAV is utilizing an ecological model of prevention and protection, just like planting trees, where the ideology takes root and grows protection for victims. We dedicate ourselves to strengthening the professional collaboration network and aim to eliminate all prejudices from the justice system and advocate for the criminal justice system to adopt a trauma-informed approach to prevent secondary harm. TCAV is an intersection, cross-profession organization that you can trust. We unite social policy, law, mental health, education, law enforcement, and the medical system, and work on eliminating all forms of gender-based violence. We also challenge myths and discrimination in media culture to rebuild a culture that supports victims and raises awareness of gender sensitivity. Now, we also work with communities to stop gender-based violence from a prevention perspective. TCAV established Empowering Team for Elderly Care Stations. By means of consultation and demonstration, we successfully introduced the philosophies of CEDAW and SDGs into communities. We empower local groups and advance actions in communities. TCAV believes that only if communities are strengthened will society become more friendly. Dignity, advocacy, collaboration. TCAV, continuously shaping social change. Speak up for the vulnerable. Time is up.
Here, we are highlighting the UN Women's Watch report on climate change and gender equality. These few alarming numbers paint a picture of why feminism in climate justice is such an urgent global issue. Now is a vital moment for activists, feminists, allies, and youth to support the women and children being disproportionately affected by climate change and the intersection of structural gender inequality. That is why this year we are partnering with the Low Carbon Healthy Living Foundation. In today's event, we're going to discuss how we involve climate justice, the Low Carbon Healthy Living Foundation, and Taiwan Coalition Against Violence will introduce the Earthbox Empowerment Center, demonstrating the key concept of self-reliant low-carbon living, circular economics, and urban farming. By the way, for your reference, the president of Low Carbon Health and Living Foundation, Professor Lin Xiande of Chenggong University, he created the School of Green Magic, which is one of the only buildings to receive the top green building certificate in both Taiwan and the United States of America. What is special about this green building is its affordability. It's accessible to communities in need and is a viable construction method to have a real impact on saving the planet. We promoted collaboration in the protection network. The health protection networks on promise and action. The goal was to develop practical model on integrated cross-disciplinary teamwork and innovation, as well as to create victim and family-centered service strategies. This upcoming October will the 10th anniversary award ceremony. Firstly, I would like to show you the power of collective action, a story of professional and society networks working together to protect dignity in life. In Taiwan, we follow the ecological system model where we have formed a protection network stretching across every segment of society, shedding a spotlight on every gender-based issue to ensure we leave no one behind. I'm a person who likes to use picture and art to show the vision of goal. So here I'm using a picture drawn by my colleague. Originally, this picture was for the 4th Asian Pacific Gender-Based Summit, which is meant to send my best wishes and vision that may all of you be healthy, may we all work together, forming a coalition to build cities where SDGs are implemented locally and the people engage with victims through a trauma-informed lens. All of which, when we combine, has long-lasting butterfly and flywheel effect. I'm sincerely thanks to all in the audience and why I cannot see you and we might not know each other. However, I believe we all have the same big heart and minds, the same tears for all victims, and live under the same sky and stand on the same earth. Eventually, together, we can bring our efforts and allies significantly more impact and health in the long run. That's a step toward showing people how to find strength in kindness and empathy, toward advocacy becoming a lifestyle, and toward turning professional field into approachable movements the public can participate in. Starting with systematic advocacy in law, TCAV and our member partners have successfully reformed the justice institution by passing critical legislation, including the Sexual Assault Prevention Act, the Domestic Violence Prevention Act, the Sexual Harassment Act, and recently the Anti-Stalking Act in 2021. Today, Taiwan has a decent complete legal structure for gender-based issues, which was the result of advocacy from the government, civil society, and especially members of TCAV who have been dedicated to this for 30 years. Now, all solutions are not complete yet by solely building the law. We all have to answer the question of how to implement, enforce, and continuously improve a holistic protective way around the law. Currently, we hold regular meetings with police officers, judicial officers, social workers, educators, and medical personnel to exchange our experience and develop best practice to reduce the mishandling of cases. We conduct workshops and provide a handbook on what it means to be a trauma-informed in different fields, a fundamental qualification for a positive attitude and understand when engaging with women and children. Additionally, we have dedicated to make median change to new narrative to report on gender-based cases that including putting local under the broader international scope to highlighting the basic fact that power structures in society are not equal. In the story of past change to future stress, we start with the Just Initiative. The most important change within our judicial system was when the Supreme Court judges made the pivotal change from blaming victims who didn't immediately report the crime to the picture that the ideal image of the victim exists only in the imagination of the patriarchal system. Today, we focus on trauma-informed approach to improve the quality of evidence in the criminal procedure practice. The media plays a very important role in primary prevention by spreading the right views and culture across society. It's critical how incidents are described, how the privacy of the victim and families are handled, and how the society broader response is presented without reinforcing gender stereotypes, stigmas, and myths. Recently, we put a lot of effort into creating new models of narrative justice for reporting on gender-based issues. We also succeeded in suggesting the new TV news channel to use TCAV6 media reporting principle to form the basis of their broadcasting guidelines and regulation. We hope that can bring some real change in media culture. Now our hotline program also have complained about stalking cases. In June, new anti-stalking act were put into effect, and we're going to evaluate how they are handled by the police, prosecutor, and judges, whether the kinds of protection being offered is enough. Our job involves monitoring the service governments provide for gender-based victims, both online and in person, constantly watching out for any inadequacies of policies, attitude, and culture. As you know, in order to reach a world where nobody is left behind, we have to be embraced by the people. It is essential that every level of advocacy and action, from systemic to localized communities, moves together. Here, the Grassroots movement is represented by this card, which the umbrella is TCAV's protective umbrella, and which resides the resource, know-how, and advocacy we bring to each community through our empowerment teams. They work with locals to exchange public attitudes and establish preventative network. In 2017, we wrote the CEDAW Shadow Report, rallying the government to propose an action plan for gender-based violence prevention. In 2018, we create youth empowerment teams to engage in grassroots efforts with elder community care stations around New Taipei City to strengthen their caretaking capability. Since 2020, the Generation Equality Forum outcomes were integrated into the program design of generational grassroots dialogues, and collective action project. In this year of 2022, we are looking ahead at the intersection of climate justice and female empowerment efforts through a new branch office with low carbon center, the Earthbox Space for Female Empowerment. By incorporating low-carbon health living, we aim to share with more people how it can relate to gender-based violence prevention and gender equality, ultimately making the feminist movement more inclusive and diverse. What is next? As you can see, we're building a local capacities for protection and prevention, focus on finding strength in kindness and empathy, hoping we can make them more powerful and reach our goal faster, not only by bicycle, but also the new high-speed train of technology and diversified cooperation, bring out profound individual and structural change. For example, we recently expanded our online resource to chatbot technology, adding smart infrastructure to extend our reach for raising awareness of gender sensitivity, trauma-informed approach, elder abuse prevention, and media supervision. Chatbot acts as a faster and non-stop vehicle for relaying the message to younger generation, with it being available to public access at any time through popular mobile message apps. We created gamified interaction. During today's presentation, you will find that even though our coalition is merely a professional group dedicated to the solemn work of passing legislation and engaging in holistic protection and prevention, our work also in contrast requires us to engage with the wider public in approachable ways. Ultimately, we aim to turn feminism in all its forms into a lifestyle citizen passionate live by. This year, to quickly increase public awareness and connect gender issues to climate justice, we have developed a partnership between TCAV's empowerment teams and the Low Carbon Health and Living Foundation, in which we are using this Earthbox as our new branch office. It acts both as space for female empowerment and a showcase of how low-carbon technology can provide empowerment, autonomy, and safety. This new office works with Elders Community Care Station in the city, where more than 80% of the volunteers are women. The Earthbox Feminist Center enable a more mature movement and make the lifestyles of advocacy accessible to the community. The Earthbox, made by a shipping container, from structure to equipment, was built completed by recycled materials. It has a lighting window to bring in sunlight, green roof to isolate heat, and the solar panels to generate a direct current. According to carbon footprint statistics of the Earthbox, the carbon emission is reduced by 43% compared to traditional reinforced concrete building. The Earthbox is successful teaching materials in educating people about energy saving and low carbon emissions. It also has the features of green healing and agricultural compatibilities. It enables a life of empowerment, autonomy, and safety by providing a way to live off a tiny piece of land with non-stop renewable power and water, rooftop farming technology, powerless temperature regulation, and built-in biodiversity, all of which are smart green design that care for our Earth. Later on, our expert speaker and inventor, Shuitian Zhang, will provide more details of low-carbon technology work behind. So, this is our strategies of a grassroots feminist movement responding to climate change through, number one, community care stations establish empowerment capabilities and networks. The second, Earthbox, exhibit the autonomy and safety and public awareness for climate change and justice. The third, mobility provide potential that in the future we can reach and help more people because the size, cost, adaptability, and the mobility of the Earth box enable it to empower rural areas in new way. Finally, I want to quick mention our empowerment team working with the elders community care stations. In Taiwan, there are currently more than 4,000 elders community care stations to promote healthy life. Now, TCAV has worked with for around 300 such community care stations across two cities, New Taipei City and Taoyuan City. In the process, we have the opportunity to unify women's rights, CEDAW, SDGs, and the theme of the Generation Equality Forum into a focused push to change the public thoughts, attitude, and behaviors. So we will have workshops, continue the dialogues with people. Everyone can be the happiness creator for sustainable life and well-being. Working on the broad road of SDGs macro diversified and inclusive vision. Here is a quick video to show our work with elders community care stations. This, when we have a clear vision, focused goals, and a well-paved path toward lasting change, it's also important to ground our hearts, our ambitions with the earth, because without Mother Nature, we would have nothing. While the start might seem small, just like very little seeding. In searching for the best way to protect Earth, we found that low-carbon health and living principle is one of the most specific ways to reduce carbon emission and protect the environment in terms of construction, energy consumption, and lifestyle. When everything comes together, we can have a society understand the important strategies of a more diverse and inclusive feminist movement with actions on climate justice. Thank you for your listening. Let us work together for a better future.